Well, for the future thinkers in farming, the step change is into big data. And on the eve of a major agricultural conference in Canberra, we thought we'd take a look from the seat of a John Deere tractor, and very high-tech they are too. The American manufacturer has been exporting farm machinery to Australia since the 1980s, and Charles Schleusner, manager of product marketing and strategy, has flown in from the US, and he joins me now. Mr. Schleusner, welcome to the programme.
Good afternoon. Happy to be here.
Now, how is John Deere finding the agricultural market at the moment in Australia?
So at the moment, Australia is a very steady market. Despite worldwide decreases in commodity prices, probably due to the drop in the Australian dollar, Australia remains strong amongst markets that are not quite as strong around the rest of the world.
And there's no impact from the drought, because that's quite a chunk of northeastern Australia at the moment.
So as I've traveled around Australia over the last few weeks, I've come to learn that this is a very large country, and at any given time, growers will be experiencing drought somewhere. And John Deere has kind of calibrated its business to smooth out the peaks and valleys, and what's happening with the drought here is not unexpected and something that can be navigated through fairly easily.
So speaking of navigation, there's out of the cab and there's inside the cab in terms of the sort of technology that's around. Outside of the cab, what is big data able to do now for farming?
Great question, and a great topic right now in agriculture. At John Deere, we're able to gather data from all of the passes over the field, the planting, the application of pesticides and fertilizers, and harvest data, bring that together, combine it with soil data and weather data to provide new decision support tools to customers that they haven't had before. That is the direction that John Deere is taking big data.
What sort of efficiencies are we talking about, Charles?
So you can look at it from two perspectives. On one hand, the analysis of this data can be brought about to look at what inputs, so seed, fertilizer, chemical, can the grower best use to bring about the highest yields, so increasing yield, and at the same time understanding based on risk, let's say if the weather outlook doesn't look good for moisture, how to really control costs. So data can be used in different ways, either to push your top line or to help you control expenses, let's say during a very dry year. And
you can optimize this, presumably, as a farmer, from your desk and make the best use of machinery and all that sort of thing.
Absolutely. We at Deere would look at two different points of view on this. Howard Buffett wrote a book called 40 Chances, and in there it talks about a grower has 40 different crop seasons in which to make management decisions. We believe that the data that John Deere can bring together to provide to growers to make management decisions can really allow them to take it from trying what worked last year, what didn't, and just improving based on their local knowledge. Yes. To be able to pool the data so the grower has access to the averages across the whole industry, so they can really take step changes in their decisions each growing season. Well,
let's move to inside the cab and the tractor itself, because there has been quite a furore this year. In February, this article in Wired magazine talking about the copyright laws for John Deere technology and the idea that farmers no longer own their own tractors.
Well, I wouldn't portray it like that. The farmers own their tractor. They can use it however they want. What we would say is we spend a lot of our research and development perfecting and optimizing the machines to work best, and some of those optimization routines when tinkered with, really can cause a safety problem to the machine.
But the problem from the farmer's point of view is, because farmers are famous for doing their own DIY, of course, for generations, is they now cannot do it if they've got a hydraulic problem or whatever. They can't actually get through these digital restriction measures, the computer codes. They have to wait for the manufacturer or the repairers to come along now, don't they?
That's true. A lot of the innovation being added to the vehicles is being put in software code. So it's not a mechanical fix anymore. I would say that as this matures and you have more and more control systems on the vehicles, new standards will be developed to help identify, allow growers to do some things, but some things probably, when it comes to safety, will not be available to them. So I see this as kind of moving toward the digital control of the equipment, where we have to probably find a new balance between what's proprietary and what's open for tinkering.
A brave new world for some farmers. Charles Schleusner, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Tiki.